In today's video, we're going to be reviewing protein pudding. These ones right here. Let's go. Hi, I'm Alex, Sports Dietitian, Nutrition Coach. Welcome again to my channel. Great to have you here. So this is episode 5 of my series of videos where I'm reviewing kind of diet, health foods, kind of, you know what I'm talking about. The foods that are marketed as being healthier for you, foods that are marketed as being, better for fat loss, foods that are marketed as being something that you should buy over a classic version. So today we're going to be reviewing protein pudding. Okay, so the two flavors we went with was chocolate pudding because, well, I love chocolate and it's a classic flavor, and we went with banana pudding as well. Now there was also a vanilla one, but to be honest, most of these vanilla ones taste pretty decent. It's very hard to kind of stuff up a vanilla flavor, so I didn't go for that one. I just chose these two, so let's give them a crack and go from there. Okay, so now that you've seen the two puddings that we're going to be comparing, let's just taste it, okay? The taste is going to be the key thing. Does it actually taste good? Because if it doesn't taste good, it doesn't matter. And then after that, we're going to be looking at the nutrition. We'll look at all those different kind of factors that we rate. And I'm going to give it a rating at the end, give you a verdict, and let you know, should you even consider buying this product. Well, without further ado, and my stomach agrees as well, it's time for a taste test. Okay, the first one I'm going to taste test is this chocolate one. I just love chocolate pudding, okay? I love chocolate flavor. It's something that I want, and this is the one I'm going to go for, okay? So let's open it up and see if it passes the taste test. Let's smell it first. It's promising so far. Okay, so first taste test of the Wicked Sisters high protein chocolate pudding. Very nice texture. I can really see the texture, as you can see. I don't know if it's blurry for you or not, but it holds well. The texture's great. There's no issues with the texture. Flavor, honestly, a bit lackluster. Doesn't have that rich chocolate flavor that I thought it would. Now, I guess it's to be expected. It's not a normal pudding. Okay. Wash the palate. We'll be trying the other pudding in a second. So yeah, so far for the flavor for the chocolate one, not as good as I expected it to be. Now I know it's like the diet version, but you still want it to be at least 70-80% as good as the original for it to be kind of worth it. Now we'll look at the nutrition later and we'll look at that side of things and why it's marketed this way. But so far for flavor for the chocolate one, it's something that would not really satisfy me for, considering that I have to go out and buy this little thing for it. It's not going to satisfy that craving for a chocolate pudding in the same way that I expected it to be. So far the flavor for the chocolate one wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. It definitely didn't give it that chocolatey hit. It was a bit of a strange flavor. Anyway, let's just test this one, okay? The banana one. Like I mentioned earlier, I didn't do the vanilla one because honestly, I'm yet to find like one of these products, even diet versions, that where vanilla is not a nice flavor or at least decent. It's just a very hard flavor to stuff up. Okay. Ooh, I like the smell of this one. It reminds me of those banana yogos. Let's try this one. This one's decent. This one tastes like you expect it to taste. It just honestly does. This one actually is pretty decent actually. Well, we seem to be in an alternative universe where I prefer the banana flavor thing over a chocolate flavor thing.
Bet that snack pack's pretty good. Want to trade me the rest of it for this banana?
Okay, so that just should tell you how much the chocolate flavor one wasn't as good as advertised, so to speak. But the banana one definitely holds up. So if you like the banana kind of flavor, the flavor of that is very, very solid. Okay, so now that I've tasted it, what's the rating? Now, I guess I'll give it for both. I'll give a rating for both, and that way you can decide which one you do. Originally I was going to just do a kind of an average rating. So average rating for both for flavor, average rating for both for portability, average rating, etc., etc. Let's do it individually. First for the chocolate one. So the rating out of 10 for the chocolate pudding, it's not horrible. It's not great either. I'm going to go 6 out of 10. 6.5. I'll go 6.5 out of 10 for the chocolate one. Now for the banana one, this one was a lot more solid. This one I'm going to give about an 8.5 out of 10. Very solid. If you like banana flavor, you want something puddingy, this actually holds up quite well. 8.5 out of 10. Okay, so that's the taste done. That's the taste rated. The next most important thing is nutrition. Okay, there's other factors we're going to review, but those two are the first ones we want to do. So let's look at the nutrition of the chocolate one first. Now they're very comparable. So I've looked at them already, full disclosure, I've looked at them already. They're very comparable, but we'll do it individually so you can get the idea of exactly what they provide. Okay, so without further ado, anyway, let's go. The chocolate one, so I'm gonna go for the whole thing. No one cares about 100 grams of this. This is 170, so each one's 170 grams, just to give you an idea. About the same size as Chobani yogurt, but no one cares about per 100 grams or whatever. We're looking at per little tub, okay? Per 170 gram little kind of yogurt sized tub, it gives you 178 calories. So essentially 180 calories. So, for a pudding, that's actually pretty decent for this serve. That's actually lower than the other puddings you'll get out there, the normal puddings. Now for the protein, which is the other thing that's important, because look, high protein, that's the whole marketing behind this. They want you to get it because it's high protein, okay? It's not even marketed as low calorie, to be honest. It's marketed as high protein with a little small thing there that says no added sugar, because of course people are scared of sugar for some reason, But anyway, it's high protein. Honestly, 16.2, so 16 grams of protein per tub of pudding. That's actually solid. You can give that an A+. Like that's a solid amount of protein for what the product is. So it's definitely high protein. They've got that covered. And the other things, fats, it gives you about 7.4, so that's lower than pudding. Obviously, it's less than the usual pudding. Carbohydrates, 11 grams. So it's quite low in carbohydrates. So if you're someone that's not wanting to have as much carbohydrates, or you have to avoid it for whatever reason, or you just fear it for whatever reason, then it's quite low carbohydrate. And sodium, doesn't have much sodium, you don't have to worry about that. Sugar, it's got natural sugars, from the products. It's just no added sugars, so it does have some sugar, so don't worry about that, don't stress about that. But all in all, about 180 calories, 16 grams of protein. That's actually pretty solid. Now let's look at the banana one. Okay, the banana one is 162 calories, so essentially 160 calories. So about 20 calories less than the other one. So, tastes better and lower calorie. Same cost, we'll get onto cost later, but, gives you an idea. But of course, if you don't like banana flavor, that's a whole different story. And it gives you about 15.5 grams of protein. So it's pretty much around that 16 grams of protein. So it's honestly very comparable across the board. The fat on this one is about 6, so a bit less. The carbohydrates is about 11, the same thing, and the sodium is the sodium, okay? So that's it. So this one's 160 calories with about 15.5 grams of protein. Very comparable to the chocolate one. Both of them between 160 to 180 calories and about 16 grams of protein. But how does that hold up? Is that a good rating? Should I give that a good rating based on that? Honestly, yes. Based on that, just for what it is, without considering the other factors, the nutrition profile of these things for a pudding, it's about a 9 out of 10, okay? 9 out of 10. It gives you a good hit of protein, okay? As much as you can expect from a pudding, and it's on the lower calorie side if that's what you're doing. So 9 out of 10. Okay, so now we covered the first two, the main ones. We covered the taste, because it got to taste good, and we covered nutrition, because, well, that's the whole point of doing these diet food reviews. But now let's go on to cost, okay? Is this actually a cost-effective snack? So both of these, and including the vanilla one that I don't have here, both of them cost me $2.50. It's $2.50 each. $5 for both of them. Okay, $5. So $2.50 for a 170 gram serve. It sometimes is on sale for $2, maybe more. I haven't seen it for more than that, but it sometimes goes to $2. So you're looking at roughly $2.50. So $2.50 for a 170 gram little tub of protein pudding. So in and of itself, if you just wanted to go out and buy a snack that kind of had that flavor or that feel of a pudding, but didn't have the nutritional aspect of it and had a better nutritional profile, well then $2.50 is actually pretty cost effective compared to some diet foods out there. But at the same time, when you look at this little tub of 170 grams compared to what you can buy in a big tub of normal pudding, Yes, the differences in nutrition have to be considered if that's what you're watching and you don't want to go for the normal one. But when you look at this, it's only 170 grams. The other one could be a kilo and it costs you maybe $5. So double of this, it's not even half of the normal one. Things like that puts it in perspective where these foods have definitely got a higher price premium onto them because they're high protein, because they're the kind of health foods. They definitely are a higher thing. So they're not completely cost effective, but they're not terrible either because you got to understand that when you want something high protein, low calorie, it's always going to have a premium because it's a specialized product. Okay, because of that reason, $2.50. How does that rate up? Honestly, I'll give it about a 7 out of 10 for cost effectiveness. If it's what you're looking for, it's not going to break your bank. But at the same time, if you want to have normal pudding and just make that fit in your nutrition and get your protein and everything elsewhere, kind of what I do. Okay, I don't rely on these health foods too much. I enjoy the original versions as part of my strategy. Then you can maybe look at it. Cost effectiveness is not really that worth it. Especially when you think about that this is a lot more costly than maybe yogurts that are on sale quite often, even the really tasty ones. So cost effectiveness, I'll give it a 7 to be fair. It's not great, but it's not horrible either. 7 out of 10 for cost effectiveness. Okay, so now on to the next one. The next rating we're gonna look at is portability, okay? Could you as an athlete just kind of pop this in your bag and take it around and have it after your game or after your training session as a treat or at work? Well, to be honest, not really. It's not really portable unless you've got some kind of cooling system, like a little ski or a little kind of ice bag, or if you can take this to work and put it in the fridge, obviously, then it's fine. But if you're just an athlete, just puts in a bag and go, it definitely doesn't have the portability of, say, the nut bars that we've reviewed before and the chickpeas and that, where you can just pop them in there, and as long as it's not too hot, you'll be fine. It's a pudding. It's got to be stored in the right way. So portability-wise, if you're looking to kind of take it around everywhere, it's not as portable. So what rating would I give it? Honestly, for portability, it's just snack bank average, 5 out of 10. It's not horrible because you can make the argument you can put it into a lunchbox with an ice pack. You can make the argument you're just taking it from A to B to put into the fridge. You can make those arguments. So we can't give it a 2 or whatever, but we can't give it like a 7 or 8, 9 or 10 out of 10 because at the end of the day, it's still a pudding. It's not gonna be the most portable thing. It's gonna perish like that if it's not stored properly. Okay, that brings us on to the final thing that we're gonna review that we always review, and that is satiety. Will this keep you satisfied if you were to have it individually as a snack? Well, looking at it, considering that it's got a big dose of protein, very much comparable to like a Chobani yogurt or a YoPro yogurt, same size, and calorie-wise, it's also kind of roughly similar. So it's kind of like a pudding yogurt in a way. Considering that, it's got to be satisfying enough if it fits within your overall caloric needs. So as long as you're not kind of crash dieting and this is part of it, then you're going to be hungry anyway. But in of itself, when you look at it and you just want to snack on it, I'm going to grab another spoonful. It's actually pretty decent. Like it's not gonna make you go, oh my god, I'm still hungry right afterwards. Like I haven't had breakfast, and I've only had like half of each one, so I guess the equivalent of a whole one, and I'm feeling okay. Now, obviously, I'm going to feel hungry because I didn't have breakfast, but you get what my point is, okay? You get what my point is. The fact that in of itself, it's a decent enough snack with a decent amount of protein that's going to give you a decent whack of satiety for what it is. So what rating would I give it for satiety? Well, it's not satisfying like a classic, like a bunch of like a fruit salad or something like that. But it's also not unsatisfying like if you were to just have a chocolate bar. So I'm going to give it about a 7 out of 10 for satiety. It's pretty good. Could be better, but for what it is, you don't expect it to be better. 7 out of 10 is pretty good for a little pudding. Okay, so there you go. Now you have all the ratings for all the different categories that we do for these diet foods. So now you know whether these things are if they hold up for those individual categories. But what's my overall verdict? What do I think about the Wicked Sisters high protein puddings? Honestly, it's always going to be a food that's going to cost you a bit more because it's a health food. So I'm not even going to take that into consideration. I'm going to just look at the taste and the nutrition profile and that sort of stuff. If you want something that kind of resembles pudding and you're sick of yogurts, this holds up. If you want something that's lower calorie than pudding and you don't really want to, you can't really fit the normal pudding in for whatever reason, or you just want something that you can have pudding more often without worrying about breaking the calorie bank, this will work. If you want something that's going to give you a bit of protein, but give you that feel that you're having something like a treat, this will work. And if you want to choose which one you want to go for, well, try both because you might have it very much well could be having a different taste palate than me, and you might actually quite enjoy the chocolate one. But honestly, the chocolate one didn't hold up because it just didn't have that chocolatey flavor that I love in pudding, and therefore I can always realize that it's not pudding. Whereas the banana one just tastes like what I expected, so I can get satisfied from it. So my overall verdict, yeah, for what it is, it's actually pretty decent, okay? For what it is, it's actually pretty decent of a product. It's just that you would want to understand that it's not all about going for diet foods. Okay, so while it's a good enough product, you want to understand that myself and a lot of my clients, we enjoy the normal ones. We go and get, like, my favorite one is the double thick choc custard that you can get, and that's kind of like a puddingy kind of product. I'm gonna make that fit into my plan and enjoy and savor that food, and then maybe have this on occasion if I wanted to. Like I said, there is a purpose for these. But I guess what I'm saying is you don't want to be thinking about, okay, how can I get rid of the classic food that I enjoy and replace it with these? Because at the end of the day, they're never going to replace it fully. Okay, you're never going to go eat this and go, yeah, exact same feeling as I got when I ate the original. There's always a place for the original. So I guess with that saying, yes, it's a good product. Yes, you should consider buying it and trying it yourself and seeing if you enjoy it. But no, you should not be thinking about it as a complete replacement of the classic version that you know and love. That's why I love flexible nutrition. That's why it's so effective, because you can make it work through strategy. You can enjoy the classic foods with strategy, and then you can supplement it with these things to make it easier for you, especially if you're watching a calorie deficit. This is really designed for someone who wants more protein and is potentially in a calorie deficit. If that is you, go try it out, see if you enjoy it, and let me know. And with that said, actually comment below, let me know, have you tried these, okay? Which flavor did you enjoy? Have you tried these Wicked Sisters protein puddings? Which flavor did you enjoy? Let me know in the comments below. As always, hit the like button for the algorithm as well as to show it some love so that I know that you enjoyed this video. And if you haven't already done so, remember to subscribe to the channel, okay? Subscribe to the channel so you know exactly when I release a video, but at the same time, you also want to not forget to ring that bell so you can stay in the loop on exactly when I drop a video. Until next time, stay classy, see you later, bye.